Good evening or morning. It's just about, I think it's about 1 a.m. September 11th, 2021. 20 years since the 9/11 attacks of 2001. That seriously changed my life. I went in the Marines and got out. Now I run a nonprofit to help fellow veterans, and I don't know, it's interesting to reflect. But anyway, this was supposed to be an update for HKV and / the Bunker Project. So HKV, our website, is now live. Learned a little bit more about how to structure my syndication deals. So realized that the HKV LLC will be our managing entity. So this is my personal brand, that kind of thing. And then we've got KNR Property Ventures LLC, and that one will be our holdings company. So it'll be for processing cash flow and equity. And then we'll have a third LLC that will be set up just for placing the property under once I can secure my first apartment complex. So that's one of the new things I've learned about how to kind of structure my deal a little better. I'm really kind of honing in on what I'm doing with the LLC. So originally I just kind of set it up and real broadly just said, okay, I'm going to make this thing about supporting the Bunker Project. Didn't really understand or know how I was going to do that or what would pan out. So I had signed up for Ford Masterminds, Exotic Car Hacks, Watch Trading Academy, Multifamily Mastermind with Tyler Devereaux, and the Active Duty Passive Incomes Multifamily Investment Seminar with Tim Kelly. And so kind of narrowed it down that the watches and cars will help me get to accredited investor status by next year. So if I can make another $200,000 at least in a year, which for me is a lot of money, going above my base income. So it's going to take some savvy investing over the next year. But if I can do that, then I will have pulled off the 200K plus investment requirement, or 200K plus a year requirement, whatever, that you need to qualify for a commercial loan. Qualify as an accredited investor. That gives me the ability to invest on other people's syndications as a limited partner. So that is a goal for next year. And I've got my schedule of real estate started anyway, so I need to see 5 properties or more, 5 units or more under management for at least 2 years. Be able to sponsor your own deal essentially. So we'll hit that mark as long as I hold on to at least 5 doors. So I've got the 4-plex and one other house, and then I've got a 6th door, my house up in Oregon, but that's being sold next month. So stay tuned to see how we take that money to reinvest it. So right now I'm out walking my dog. The reason I'm on here so late is because I went to a real estate meetup. So sorry it's dark and janky video. Here's Mr. Diggy. Anyway, so I went to this real estate meetup to learn about, I don't know, this was my first real estate meetup. I was invited by my brother and my sister-in-law who do wholesale real estate. So it was mostly wholesale people in the single family space. I'm in the multifamily space, which are kind of like 2 totally different worlds. But it was still great just to connect with real estate people, just being in that environment, and just love the mentality of real estate people, that it's all about adding value to each other. How can we raise each other up? This whole different mentality than kind of what I expected, I guess. I thought real estate would be real cutthroat and ruthless and that kind of thing, competitive, and there is some competitiveness, but it's like fun, it's like a sport. I encourage you to be better, grow, kind of what I've come across so far anyway. So I'm pretty excited to be in this real estate space. Kind of is the complete opposite of what I do in my, I guess, regular job. So in my regular job, I work on criminal defense, and they're mostly very high stakes cases. So this is what I was going to get my PhD for, and I'm just about done with that. So I'm taking on my first full-time case, and these cases are, death penalty, capital cases, usually involving murder or stuff like that. So it's nice to be in a realm of real estate that's kind of the opposite, the cars and watches. So it's like that's one of the reasons I really wanted to get into that sort of investing. But anyway, one of the things that really kind of struck me and why I wanted to get on here, even in the middle of the night walking around with my dog, because one of the people that I met at this real estate meetup happened to be an Iraqi from Baghdad, and he lived there and worked. His dad had worked with one of the contracting companies that did our stuff on our bases and some security work and things like that in 2003 in Iraq. And this is the 20-year anniversary of 9/11, and I just happened to meet a guy at a real estate meetup. I would say we kind of became friends, playing pool together and hanging out, and didn't really come out where he was from or anything. I just kind of casually asked him at the end of the meetup where he was from, and just amazing to me, that's to have that kind of meetup, that kind of connection on the 20-year anniversary of 9/11, and and I meet a guy from Baghdad who left and who luckily was able to leave in 2003 with his dad when things started getting real heavy, because once you support us Americans, when you're over there, now you kind of become a target of the enemy just the same as if you were an American yourself. So just real grateful to see that he was out of there, and be able to team up in real estate. We're going to start hosting, or I'm going to tag along anyway, and to some bi-weekly real estate meetups. We're both on the west side of Phoenix, the Surprise area. So that's just real exciting to me. That's just amazing, serendipitous connection. So that's about it, I think, with HKV. One other thing that's exciting is our website is up. So my business partner, Jason, got our business or our website all put together, and it is up and running. So you can check it out, www.hkvllc.com. So we're, like I've talked about, with the different masterminds, just kind of dabbling in different things. So I'll be probably listing some watches for sale as I do get involved in the watch trading. So if you're into luxury watches, we'll have some of those. My first one will be a TAG Aqua Racer caliber. I think it's a caliber 30 or something like that, or caliber 5, excuse me. So anyway, so I'll be listing that TAG Heuer, and then probably with that money from my home sale, I'm going to buy a small, not too small, probably invest a little bit into buying a small batch of watches. So stay tuned for learn about that, see how that goes. I'll also be I'm going to get another car, list that for rent on Turo, and then we're going to get set up as a actual auto dealership, short-term rental auto dealership, so we can qualify for commercial insurance. So that means more profit. We get to keep more of the profit instead of having to pay for insurance through the apps like Turo or Kayak. And then we can also rent directly from our website once we get that set up a little better. So our website's still somewhat under construction, but it's mostly done enough to get an idea of where the business is headed. And I think Jason did an amazing job, so hope you check it out. What else? Cars, watches. Still hunting for deals. So I am looking for 20 plus unit apartment complexes. Looking for the Looking for C-class properties in B-class neighborhoods, preferably 1980s vintage or newer. I'm looking for light value add, which just means the ability to fix it up a little bit, or maybe rents haven't been raised in a while. Maybe it's a mom and pop type operation, and rather than fix the place up, if they have deferred maintenance, they just keep rents low, something like that. So kind of get a hold of a place like that and fix it up, get it nice for the tenants, and stabilize it, and there we go. We've got some cash on cash return. Hold it for a while, build up some equity, and then we sell it off to another investor. At that point, that investor would probably be somebody who wants to take it on as a long-term hold, and they're buying it specifically for that cash on cash return, which a lot of companies that buy these are like hedge funds, retirement funds. So one of the biggest investors in the multifamily space is a company called Blackstone, and that's basically, if you have a PERS account or a 401k, like, you are probably invested in multifamily and don't even know it, because that's what Blackstone does. You invest PERS and 401ks. So that's pretty much it for HKV. As far as the bunker project, so I moved out of the bunker project house, working with a real estate attorney to set up the deed and trust. So that means the deed is the bunker projects, the house is the bunker projects. I am just responsible for the loan. So once the loan is paid off, it goes to the bunker project. I also did a last will and testament, so in my will, if I die before that loan gets paid off, again, the house gets left to the bunker project, to the nonprofit. This just ensures that there is no conflict of interest. I'm not living there. No one pays rent to me directly anymore. We have our own bank account for the nonprofit. Leases are in the bunker project's name. Leases now include the requirement that they be a student veteran. So we verify enrollment each term visually, and we verify their DD-214 again visually. So not trying to store any personal information, take that kind of risk with anybody's kind of personal information. Just visual check, and there we go. So the house is full. The Las Vegas bunker project house is completely full. I sent out an ad right after I left, got the room cleaned up for them, and it was gone, I would say probably within 2 days, 2-3 days. Someone had already signed a lease and taken the room. So now I'm adding names to a wait list. So if you'd like to get on our wait list, I will gladly add your name. And now that we're eligible to apply for funding, we'll start applying for some grants. So if there are any grant writers out there who would like to help us out with some grant writing, that will be greatly appreciated. And with those grants, then we can start acquiring other properties and expanding to fill up, to meet that demand. So we've got more demand than we have supply right now. It's a struggle. In order to get a second house here in Arizona, I'm going to use the BRRRR strategy. So that's the strategy I used in my personal investing to acquire my first 2 houses. So basically I'm going to cash out, refinance 80% of the equity that's in the bunker project house, so that'll be about $80,000, and take that $80,000 and look for a property that meets our criteria. So a 5-bedroom house as close to ASU or U of A as possible, or even a satellite campus for student veterans. So ranch style, 5-bedroom, 3-bath ideally, or even a small apartment complex like a 4-plex would work well. Either way. So I'll be looking for that, using that $80,000 to put toward a conventional loan. So you put 20% down, conventional loan. If not, for also learn through the wholesalers tonight, there's some other options. So maybe, if we can get a wholesale deal and get a hard money lender, and close quickly. So that's wholesale deals are generally cheaper than buying on the retail market like Zillow or something. But the catch is that you gotta have cash. You gotta be able to close real quick. So they don't want to deal with loans. They don't want to deal with appraisals. You're buying as is. So we can do that. Get a house like that and fix it up, and then start another bunker project out here. It'll be in 2 states, which would be cool. And so that's how we'll do that, is by burring to acquire another property. But I would still need to raise money for all of the rehab of the house. We would need to raise money for all the furnishings in the house. If I wanted to give away another car like I did in Las Vegas, we need to raise money for that. What else? We would need to raise money for laptops, or unless we can get that organization, I don't know what they're called, I think it was the Veteran Technology Support Organization or something like that. They were a 501c3 of California. So maybe we can get them to give us more computers, but if not, we'll need to collect donations to buy those. So that's kind of where I'm at with the bunker project. Like, I have the ability to acquire another house, but we need donations to fill it with stuff. So that's a challenge. So that's where the grant writing would really help. And then we also don't have any staff. There's no paid staff. No one is paid a dime through the bunker project. I have never collected any kind of salary. No one has ever collected any kind of salary. The only person we've ever paid is our webmaster to build our website and some web hosting, and then of course the government, all their filing fees and that kind of stuff. But other than that, yeah, no salaries, no wages. And that's where some grant money would come into handy if we ever get to large enough to where we might need something like that. One of the positions I would like to hire is regional director. So that would be somebody who could help oversee both the Las Vegas and Phoenix region. And so regional director's job is just to secure funding, secure resources for the veterans in the house, connect with other organizations, attend various all kinds of different veteran advisory boards. I'm guilty of not attending many of them because I don't know, I didn't see the worth in it. And the ones that I went to, they were usually just kind of one person standing up to thank another person for some great job they did or something. I don't know, just kind of a self-promotion fest, and not much was ever really accomplished there, from what I could tell. Just a lot of sitting around in a circle talking. So didn't really care to take part in that all that much, but it would be beneficial if we had an employee who's dedicated to that sort of thing. Maybe we could start talking about what it is that we do, start talking about the research that's behind why we do what we do, and maybe start influencing how the nonprofit sector, at least with military veterans, is run. Start directing some of that funding that's out there toward programs that actually work or actually do something. The biggest motivation for me getting into this nonprofit world and sticking with it was just the fact that there's so much money raised on my back, and on the backs of people like mine, and it doesn't trickle down to us. It's like, where does all that money go? I see a lot of stuff lately where suicide is the big thing, and it's in the name of the organization itself. And then you dig in, okay, let's look at their GuideStar report. How much are they worth? Okay, they're worth $5 million. All right, $5 million. What do you do with that $5 million? And you look at their programs, and all their program is they have a volunteer who answers a phone and goes through a list of other organizations like ours that actually have programs and do stuff, and then they give them our phone number and they call us. So if a student veteran calls the suicide line and I'm wanting to go to school, I need a room, whatever. Okay, they go down the list. All right, here's Bunker Project. They do student housing. That's kind of how the referral service works. And then they sell a lot of t-shirts and spend a whole lot of money on marketing to sell those t-shirts and bracelets and dog tags and whatever, you know. And it gets kind of frustrating when, you know, you are a disabled veteran yourself, the combat veteran, like you're supposed to be the recipient of all this stuff, you know, why they're raising all this money, and it doesn't trickle down. So it's kind of where I wanted to continue in this nonprofit world, just kind of shake up the nonprofit world a bit and show, like, look, you don't need to throw millions and millions of dollars at a problem like that. You know, selling t-shirts doesn't help me think about suicide less or more or anything, you know. Like, referral service, like, there's more than 15,000 veteran service organizations listed on the VA's website, and half of those organizations are just referral services. The Bunker Project, I'm guilty of this too. The Bunker Project originally, you know, without funding, it was like, well, what can we do? It's pretty much it. It would be a referral service. Build a database of the other local organizations around us, keep a list on hand, and then if somebody reaches out, we can give them a vetted, you know, organization that we trust. That's how one of the original ideas for the Bunker Project, and that didn't sit well with me because there's already so many other organizations doing exactly that. And so, as a veteran, like, you know, I've been this veteran myself who calls and tries to find out, okay, what does your organization do, or how can you help me, or, you know, whatever. And you get a phone number to another organization. No, well, we can't help with that. Here's this other organization. You call them, and it's the same thing. You know, order a referral service. You know, what do you need? We'll go through our list. Go through our list, and the same thing. You know, we're a referral service. What do you need? And you can get passed around, you know, 10, 12 times between referral services before you ever actually get to, like, somebody who provides anything at all. Whether that's, I mean, there's so many nonprofits out there. If you can think of it, like, there's a nonprofit that's offering it for free to veterans. You know, like, you know, tickets to shows, tickets to games, you know, free gym passes, testosterone therapy. You know, you can go to Costa Rica and do ayahuasca, hang out with horses and dogs, and, you know, all this stuff. You know, me with our Bunker Project, with our student housing. So anyway, there's a lot out there. So that's about it, I think, as far as the 2 updates. It's going on a really long video, but I was just super excited about running into this guy from Baghdad, you know, on 9/11 itself. I'm looking forward to teaming up and seeing how I can add value to his life through real estate, you know, investing. Because, I don't know, I feel like it's almost like a way of, like, redemption or giving back or something. Like, we kind of did a lot of bad things to that country, and luckily he was able to get out in 2003 before he had to see any of the real heavy duty stuff. But I don't know, you know, like, I don't know. So I think I'll end this. Just kind of rambling now. So, good night.